Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we're working to connect women in leadership and business, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul, and connecting to the heart and soul of what we do. And today is really exciting. This is my little passion project, is getting us together to talk about things that have to do with our health. And I think especially for women, it's really important for us to have a few different voices when we hear things, because we're used to having that women's circle feeling like that's how we work through things and think about things
and problem solve.
Right.
Is in circles and in community with each other.
And if we're not exposing ourselves to different communities or different ideas, we're very closed in and stuck in one idea. So this is important. That's part of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I found a really great article by a couple of doctors. One was
go back. Oh, we are talking about the endocannabinoid.
I didn't even introduce Angela. I'm like, let's go.
And let's just jump into it. It's all good.
Hold on, slow down. She's so excited. Okay, so Angela's with us today, Angela Wallace, and we are going to talk about the endocannabinoid system today. And Heather's going to start us off with the article that she found, and we're gonna talk about that. But Angela, why don't you go ahead and say hi and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Angela. I am a wellness ambassador. Represent a couple of different companies, and I've kind of grown a passion as well for wellness and learning more about the endocannabinoid system, and a product of how good it can be and what it can do for your body.
Right.
So I get excited as well talking about it.
So this week,
I didn't get excited at all. Nope.
This whole week is really important in the cannabis community because tomorrow's 420, right? And not only is it my daughter's 18th birthday, and I'm having all kinds of mom feels about that, but it is like the high holiday, right? So we actually have
the high holiday,
a special for you guys from a gal who works in the cannabis industry tomorrow. But today we are talking wellness, and we're talking about the endocannabinoid system, because that is why people seek out and use cannabis products. So what is the endocannabinoid system?
Awesome. Okay, now we can talk about these couple doctors. I was excited. I didn't even realize they were ladies. Sarah Gottfried and
Elenaz Karaminian Azari.
So I was really excited because I was like, oh, I even found an article by women. It was an accident, but I included it in the description, and it's dropped down below in the links, so you can check it out. But basically, the endocannabinoid system drives homeostasis in our bodies. So the endocannabinoid system is involved in all of our systems in our body. So it has so many, there's the receptors all over head to toe in our body. And so let's see, it regulates many physiological, homeostatic, and cognitive functions, including appetite, immune function, pain, metabolism, and energy balance, stress response, anxiety, mood, fertility, pregnancy, and pre and post natal development, memory, and neurogenesis, which is like creating of your brain nerves, in case you didn't know. This article was very, very sciencey, to say the least. If you want to know what a CBD1 receptor is, and you want to know, you can get all of those answers, which is pretty cool. I think
it's really interesting. Yeah,
it is.
That the science behind it has come so far, and it's so open to be able to talk about it. So since it was banned here in the US, in the 1960s in Israel, they were doing research. So their research has been going on. Just we weren't doing it, out in the open here in the US.
I think it's really interesting that they were still doing these studies there because of how they perceive cannabis versus how the United States perceives cannabis. Like the perception is very different.
It is very different. I thought, well, this will be a little bit of a side note. I thought it was interesting is that the whole industry as a whole is very, what we would consider organic and clean minded. Like they are leading in the way in clean farming, organic farming. Like it's the culture of the industry to be clean and not have extra ingredients and pesticides and things. So it's to keep it natural, which is cool. I think that's really cool, because when we talk about, we talk about that all the time, eliminating chemicals and different chemicals. And
I think it's really great that we are beginning to embrace this natural healing herb, this natural healing plant in so many different ways and venues.
All right, so let's get back to what is what does it do? What would it look like if we were deficient? And our bodies actually, are supposed to be activating this system on their own. So what does it look like when you have a deficiency? And what does it look like? So that shows up oftentimes with migraines, fibromyalgia, irritable bowel. And then the goal for doctors, of course, is always to return patients back to
some sort of normal,
yeah. Homeostasis is what they call it.
Normal living state.
So our bodies will activate their own endocannabinoid system when we're like hungry, when we exercise, during times of stress, and anytime that we have an inflammatory response, which I thought was interesting, because I feel like we have a lot of inflammatory response things that happen in our bodies.
Well, and if you really think about it, hunger, stress, inflammatory responses, that all sounds very like fight or flight. So it helps fight. It sounds like it helps fight against that, which I'll get into my
so that's
later.
Yeah, like it's the response to fight or flight, right? Like how are we going to bring you back from that edge? And I personally think that over time we've become more and more deficient, because it used to be that like our clothes were made from hemp fibers, so we were exposed to things that had CBD in them naturally all the time. And
hemp
then
soaps, weaving.
Yeah, because the whole plant is used. You can eat the hemp seeds, you can use it as shampoo, lotion, like there's so many ways to get exposure, right? Because I feel really in my head at this moment, did I actually explain the endocannabinoid system?
Well, yeah, it drives the homeostasis. It helps us recruit back to normal, our bodies into that normal state, what is considered normal, right? And
then
sorry about that.
Dog alert.
My 14-year-old.
Okay, so what I wanted to say was that we have these receptors all over our bodies and in different organs, different parts of our brains. And what CBD does is it connects with those receptors and turns them on. So if we don't have enough natural CBD in our bodies and we aren't turning those receptors on, or maybe we turned them on and we've exhausted them. Because I think sometimes that's too with the chronic stress issues, with inflammation, fatigue. I was just like, oh my gosh, my poor body. Like, that's what I thought when I was reading this.
This leads right into the article that I read today. Angela, do you have anything you want to say about the one she did before I go into the one I read today?
Just to tag on the end of that was just, I don't think our body produces enough, like it should, but it doesn't. And that's where supplementation usually comes into play, and, you know, products that contain cannabis, is because our body has that and can, you know, activate those, but it doesn't produce it enough on its own. So
no, it doesn't.
Hence why all of the issues usually end up happening in our bodies.
This is what it said: lifestyle modification. Like if we were going to just get our endocannabinoid system all happy, all on its own, maintain ideal weight, engage in regular aerobic exercise, follow an anti-inflammatory diet such as the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean, thank you. And with an emphasis on olive oil, fish, seeds, and nuts. Eat organic food when possible and reduce exposure to endocrine depleting or disrupting chemicals, which I don't even know what those are. I will have to research that. And control or eliminate alcohol, tobacco, and coffee consumption. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
No, I can't. You're not taking away my coffee. It's not happening. And then, you know, stress management, massage, acupuncture, targeted therapies like pre and postbiotics, and then plant-derived bioidentical therapies. So then, you know, so you can, you know, I feel like if you were like that perfect balance, you wouldn't need a supplement.
Right.
Most do not fall into that category. I mean, it takes a very, very strict way of living. I mean, we all know we should be eating healthy. We should be exercising, you know, limiting alcohol and even caffeine, but, you know, and stress. I mean, of course we should be eliminating stress, but, you know, this is the real world. And it's around us all the time. Even when you're the most positive person in mindset, like it's still what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, as a military veteran, who suffers from PTSD, and learning more about what's going on in my own body and mind is really important to me. So I found this article from the VFW, or the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and it says, and I've linked the article in the comments here, and it says, federal study finds cannabis beneficial for PTSD treatment. Results of a study released in March revealed improvements among PTSD patients receiving cannabis doses with higher levels of THC. And it goes into how this study was done and all that stuff. But what I thought was really cool is this part here. Over the course of a year, the study found that cannabis users reported a greater decrease in the severity of their PTSD symptoms. They also were more than 2.5 times as likely to no longer meet the diagnostic criteria for PTSD as those who did not use cannabis. How cool is that, right? And so, I mean, it goes on about how cannabis is actually a really great treatment for those who suffer PTSD. You know, you can read study after study on how cannabis.
Because even the article I read said several clinical studies have evaluated effects of treatments of conditions like movement disorders, psychosis, PTSD, anxiety, and sleep disorders. I was like,
it's huge.
That's life-changing, right? Huge. Like,
and you know, we know that cannabis treatments help those who are going through cancer treatments. Right. Yeah. It helps them keep their appetite, which helps them keep weight on. It also helps with the nausea and the pain. So it's like bam, 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 three for one. And then they're having to take less actual pharmaceutical, chemical medications to treat the symptoms. Right. Which is super.
I don't know anybody that hasn't known somebody that's gone through cancer. So I think most people can relate to seeing how miserable someone is going through cancer. And I mean, now the studies are out that can tell you exactly what's happening in the body and why it's happening. And, you know, I just thought of like the gut health, because all of that, you know, the upset tummy and the appetite, that has to do with gut health, and all the, you know, keeping your gut happy while you're going through something, like, you know.
Are you saying everything's connected?
Oh gosh, stop it.
We
decided it's all connected.
Instead of everything is awesome, it's like everything's connected.
Everything's connected.
Is.
I love it.
Yep.
Right?
Our mind, our heart, our gut. I mean, our gut is our second brain, they call it. I mean, it is all connected, and it affects everything.
Absolutely everything.
I just think about my own PTSD, and now how much I know about PTSD now that I've been working with you, and I learned how I'm affected by my own PTSD. And then I just was thinking about when I started taking CBD regularly, like a really high quality CBD. And it was like, that was the life changer that changed, right? Like, and I know Angela's story is very similar. Like, I went from always having to be in bed to I'm like up and awake and moving, and things are connecting, and, you know, I have energy again. I can actually go for the exercise walks. I can do things again. You know, it was, I mean, there were a lot of factors in there, but that was one of the main things that I still supplement, you know, that it's so important.
Yeah. And I use CBD drops, and then I also use cannabis, because sometimes it's more effective. Like when my anxiety is through the roof, like it was like yesterday, and even she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not okay. I don't know why. My anxiety is like, whew." But
we didn't know why, but we talked through it, you know, but we had to give it that space. Though.
Let's be real. Mama's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so, you know, at times like those, you know, sometimes require a little more than I normally would use for myself on a normal basis. But if that CBD was not available to me when I was damn near having a panic attack yesterday, I probably would have had a full-on like meltdown, breakdown, panic attack. Like,
you would have ended up at the hospital yesterday.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it was bad.
Absolutely.
But you know, I have done a lot of research and different things, and I have found what works for me and my body, and what helps me with my PTSD, between the meditation, the yoga, and the CBD and cannabis. As long as I maintain these things, I do really well. It's when things start falling aside because I'm too busy or whatever that
I feel good, so I'm not going to take the time for this. You know, I feel good today. It's okay. And then the next day I feel good. It's okay. So yeah.
And then bam, you hit a wall.
Right. And then you're like, crap. Okay, so I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to
get back on. So do the things like I'm supposed to. So Angela, not all CBD is created equally.
Right.
And absolutely. I know you have a little bit of knowledge about that. What kind of knowledge around CBD would you like to share with us today?
Yeah, I had tried various different CBDs over the years, off and on, and you know, did cannabis as well, and that became hard at times because I wasn't able to function the way I always needed to on a daily basis doing that. So I needed something different, and I was struggling, just that couldn't get out of bed, tired all the time, was just existing. I really wasn't surviving. And then I came across
not even just surviving, like I'm like, okay,
existing.
I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I'm just surviving. I'm like, wow, just existing, that sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there is surviving and there's existing. And I felt like I was getting to a point of literally just opening my eyes, breathing, taking care of my kids. So it's a robotic thing. And that was it. So yes, there's all forms of CBD and how it's the technology that's used to make it. I had come across a water soluble one, which made sense to me. Our bodies are mostly made up of water. It's very natural to absorb water. And so that was a game changer for me. That made me feel the difference that I've never gone back to feeling the way I was 2 years ago ever since, because and it was just night and day from giving a diagnosis where it felt like a life sentence, like that it was just like, this was my existence now in my 30s. My kids are still young. They need me. I'm a single mom. And I have, no quality of life, that I'm hurting all the time. I'm just tired all the time. I have no energy whatsoever. So yeah, definitely my endocannabinoid system was completely off. It didn't have what I need. I had very high stress on top of it all, which didn't help. So yeah, started making some, different changes and finding these different supplements that were helping. That was kind of the start of different things. And it kind of led into my mindset and led into different things of lifestyle changes, and kind of went from there. So, but yeah, definitely finding a good quality and what works for you is key, because it's not all created the same. If you say you've tried CBD and it didn't work, well, then you got to find another one, because it is not all the same. And there is some that it's out there that is not good at all. So you really have to do your research to make sure you're getting a good quality.
And on that note, the way that oil carries CBD is it connects to the outside of the receptor, and then the oil is on the receptor, and then you're hoping that the CBD, goes in to the receptor. As to the water-based soluble, it just goes right through the receptor to the other side, so it doesn't clog up. So it is just, sometimes that cheaper quality CBD, it's clogging up pores and receptors, and you just kind of have to flush or try something, change something. I think I've tried every single CBD lotion I can possibly get my hands on. I could tell you what ones I like for consistency, which ones I like for smell, which ones I like because they work.
These that smell really good, but they don't really work that great. The one that smells really like weed, that one works really good.
Yeah, but it smells really like weed, so it's not super great to use and go to the grocery store, right? Like, it's not the perfume you're looking for, then yeah. But that one's a real natural, because we know people that will make really natural stuff, and I love that. And then we know quality companies, and so just to definitely hit up Angela or I's link tree, and you will find the revolutionary CBD on there. So,
and it is pretty amazing. Those CBD gummies are, one, delicious. And two,
I actually hate gummy candy. I do not like gummy candy whatsoever. And when I very first tried these, I was like, okay, I'll try them, because of course
everyone's freaking out, right?
And I am obsessed. I actually have more coming. I think they got them in the mail coming. So yeah, I absolutely love them.
I actually have to order more, because
I was going to ask you. I literally was like, we'll have to ask her later, because it's top of mind today. Obviously.
I got to order some more CBD gummies for my husband, which are THC free.
Yeah.
Hemp-based, water-soluble THC, and they are amazing.
They're so convenient. Yeah. And they taste good. They don't have that nasty oil delivery flavor.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, and it says technology has changed. I mean, it sounds probably such a foreign thing to most people, like a water soluble, or I'm sure there's even tried to been done out there, that kind of thing. But as technology's changed, we've just figured out better ways of doing things. At one point, that's all we knew was oil, and it worked. But, it's just like a supplement that you, swallow, or, you're only absorbing so much of it. So because the other stuff's got to go somewhere, and your body can't absorb all of those things. So water soluble technology it's new, but it's definitely very effective.
Right. And CBD technology is still fairly new, which is weird, because I mean, the marijuana, the plant has been around and used medicinally for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Now, you know,
I think they just found a different way to pull it apart and, you know, really break it down even more.
Yeah, because they didn't have a lot of the stuff they have at the stores when I was a kid.
Well,
there was no stores.
There was no stores, to be fair.
When I was a young whippersnapper.
So anyway,
I love it.
If you guys are interested in finding out more about CBD and different products and how they work, reach out to us.
Say too, because we always talk about our fur babies, that fur babies have endocannabinoid systems too. Every one of us does. Every humanoid has this system in your body.
Mammals.
Mammals.
Mammals. Thank you. I guess you're not a humanoid.
No, she thinks so. She thinks so.
She's like, what are you talking about? I am too. So I would love to give a shout out to the Boogie Bin. They're doing a great job of collecting things for pet rescues that are a little more underserved, and it really takes away from the people serving to worry about getting these type of things and doing this and the supplies. And it's really exciting that she's taken on this project, and it's been really well received.
Yeah. And I was checking out her Facebook page this last week, and she posts things that are found on like chewy.com or Amazon that are really inexpensive but really good toys, not only for your pets, but you can order them and donate them directly to the Boogie Bin, which I think is really cool. Yeah,
that's cool.
So, check out the Boogie Bin links in the comments or the description, and
that's cool.
Help support this really great cause and this new person who is very quickly becoming one of our favorite, you know, community members and friends. So Jill is amazing.
She is. So she really is. I can't wait for you to meet her, Ange.
Yeah, definitely.
So for our listeners, we love you guys. Thank you all for joining us today, and make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast so that you get the latest and greatest, and check out the community calendar with all the events on our website,
www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com.
Anything else?
.com. I can't think of anything else.
Is that it?
Thank you so much, Angela, for joining
us. We love you so much.
We love you. Love you guys.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.